from each Kiss record, I can't do it. I can't do it, man. There's just too many. I can't do that. I appreciate you trying to get that out of me, Matt, but it's something I can't give you an answer to because there's just too many. You know, I was running down the songs on those records, and I mean, I can't single out one. Band was so important and so special to me. There's no way I could just pick one off of every record. There's just too many. Even trying to pick 5 from each record would be hard to do. But the huge majority of them would be Paul Stanley songs, without question. Because his songs were always far and away my favorite on all the Kiss records. My God, if I was to interview him, and then if he granted that interview, the world would really be ending. A true sign of the apocalypse. I don't know, man. I mean, it would depend where what we're doing. Is it we're just getting into the whole story? Is it about a specific time, a specific period? Is it about me as a fan, my beliefs and what I feel is good and bad and right and wrong? I don't know. I don't know if that's not important to him, nor should it be. I don't know. There's a lot. And there's things that I know, that I'd love to air out and just, try to get into the psyche a little bit. Again, I can't stress enough. I mean, over time, because of the stories and incidents or whatever, but some stuff gets magnified, blown out of proportion, massively taken out of context. But I can't stress enough, and I will never, ever, no matter how much BS and nonsense there has been or maybe or was, I can't stress enough the importance of that band, and in particular, that guy on my life in terms of being a fan as a kid. I'll never deny that. But I am also somebody that is not what you would call a blind worshiper, meaning that everything that is thrown at you, you accept and just fall in line with. And some artists insist that's the case, otherwise they brand you as an enemy. But I don't do that for Kiss or any band. There's not a band, you can come to me with any band, and I can tell you things I don't like, things I don't agree with in their history, periods I liked, periods I didn't like. You can ask me about that with any of my all-time favorite bands. And I will tell you honestly how I feel as a fan about every single one of them without hesitation. It just so happens that Kiss is a band that are hypersensitive, and you can't do that. If you have independent thought and you differ from what the agenda is at that time, there's a sensitivity there, and they hold it against you. What we're doing now, you fall in line with and don't ask questions. But you can ask me, and I'm not going to cave to that. So that's the thing. But you can ask me about any band. I mean, I get a lot of stuff about Kiss that comes my way, which is fine. But I'll tell you about Aerosmith. I'll tell you about UFO. I'll tell you about all these bands that I love, periods that I was just scratching my head saying, what are they doing? This is not right. Or this is not good. And by the way, every single fan, and I've never considered myself anything more than a fan at the end of the day, every single fan has that right and prerogative. Every single one. It's just that some fans exercise it vocally and passionately like I do, the good, the bad, the indifferent. Some fans feel, how many people, I don't care what band you're talking about right now, do you know how many people I know, whether they're just regular fans on the street, people that work for bands, people in some level of media, who say one thing publicly but express something completely different privately. I cannot begin to tell you how many people I know like that. Because, they want to be everybody's friend. They don't want to take a chance on rocking the cart. They don't want to take a chance on, everything's got to be so PC. You got, fall in line. So publicly, because they don't want to jeopardize their standing, or they don't want to jeopardize getting the free ticket, or jeopardize whatever, they'll do and say whatever the agenda is, but behind the scenes, they'll tell you how they really feel. I can't do that and don't do that and won't do that. And by the way, I take the hits for that, but at the same token, I also believe it's why I've lasted 37 years doing this and have the audience and the following I do. So it comes with that territory. My favorite broadcasters of all time all have that history. People online spreading shit, making shit up, taking shots at them, the haters, just literally making shit up about the person, or, the storylines you've heard a million times to just brand somebody in a certain way. You know what? All of those people are massively successful. None more than the guy who occupies about half of an entire floor of SiriusXM in his own compound and gets paid millions and millions of dollars to work 3 days a week. Mr. Stern. I mean, half the world hated the guy for most of his career. Only probably the most successful broadcaster in the world. Guy like Rush Limbaugh. No matter where you stand politically, half the world hates the guy. The other half the world loves the guy. One of the most successful, highest paid broadcasters in history. Local sports guy in New York named Mike Francesa, retired for the most part recently. Massively successful. Very polarizing. People called him an egomaniac. People called him the sports pope. He got into it with various local teams, wouldn't send people on his show because he said something. Massively successful. Everyone listened to him. So you're not coming straight, and you're not agitating some people every once in a while. Guess what? You probably don't have a lot of people listening to you, because there's enough people out there that are doing, every sort of level of broadcasting, quote unquote, from stuff online to podcasts to whatever. Plenty of those, there's a zillion people like that. And they're all just going to pump out and toe the line at that point. And look, I'm not saying that anybody, myself or anybody out there of the people I mentioned, I'm not saying that any of them are, the goal is to have people dislike you. But what I'm saying is, when you're doing an honest, unfiltered broadcast and really doing something compelling, there's going to be a percentage of people that aren't going to like it because they're not used to hearing it, and they don't want, you to actually have that platform. Coincidentally, those are also the most successful broadcasters, because they're coming at it from the heart.